welcome to our Friday edition of Detroit in Black and White. I'm Adolph Mongo. Allan Lengel has the night off. Uh, good afternoon, Jim Nardone, our resident police expert from downriver. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I wouldn't call me an expert at anything, but thank you.
Oh yes, you know you're the only person I know was chief of police, head of the fire, and it created a lot of chaos down there with a sidekick. You know, yeah, you was doing your thing. Vanessa Moss, attorney Vanessa Moss.
Yay!
Listen, attorney Vanessa Moss. Listen, this is Vanessa Moss. She about ready to go out tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Why you tell these people my business? That's not true. Don't believe that, guys.
Before Gwendolyn Brooks say your business is our business. So,
and we thought you got dressed up for us.
I did.
Eric Brown, what's happening, Eric?
Oh, nothing much.
Oh, good. Eric Henry, how you doing? He said this is his favorite show, DAE. Good evening, ladies and gents. Okay.
Listen, I want to say, I want you, those of you that watch this show every month.
I said, Lengel, you tell people you're not coming on. You was partying. Then you had me give a good send-off. Couldn't put it back on.
Frankie Darcell is here. Cynthia Burnett is here. Listen, if you guys are watching Detroit in Black and White, the hottest show on this side of the United States, the hottest show on YouTube, we want you to like, subscribe, and share. Like, subscribe, and share. Tell your friends about Detroit in Black and White.
What happened to Allan, Teresa?
You shamed him.
Come on, Allan.
You shamed him and he left.
Anyway, well, let's start with the Crumleys. I thought that the parents got a raw deal. Son is in jail for life. The parents in jail, they might as well be there for life. What, 10 or 20 or whatever? What did they get, Vanessa? You the resident.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess I could look it up, but go ahead, finish saying what you have to say, because I'll weigh in.
Well, I just thought Karen McDonald used this case, and she went postal on the parents, but yet what happened to the fucking the school officials who interviewed this kid? He had a backpack. He was drawing all kind of crazy stuff about killing, etc. You know, and I know if his name was Jamal Crumley, he would have been kicked out of school. The police would have been called, but they sent him right back to school. And the parents, listen, they wasn't the state-of-the-art parents. They were sleazeballs. But what they got, is too much time. And if you're gonna punish everybody involved, punish the fucking school officials that let it go. Go ahead.
Listen,
Go ahead.
Listen, you asked me what did I think about it. You made the statement about Prosecutor McDonald, using this basically as a political football, if you will, to catapult her career. And I feel like this. Don't most of them do that? Listen, when Kim Worthy, when Kwame Kilpatrick was charged and was going through all this, she sealed her deal to be the prosecutor for Wayne County forever. You could go on and on. That's what
an elected official accused of taking money.
There are elected political officials.
But they not officials. They some sleazeball parents that they fucked up.
I'm talking about the prosecutors are elected officials.
Yeah, well, people not gonna change. L. Brooks Patterson was a fucking closet KKK guy, and he was prosecuted forever. Thompson over there, Gorsuch, he got his ass kicked out of office because he was doing some sleazeball shit. Go
Eric.
ahead. Go ahead, Eric.
Eric, and then I'm gonna come
But
back.
you can't, Vanessa, you can't criticize Worthy without criticizing Governor Granholm at the same time, because she
That's a good point.
was the one that removed him from office, and she was going to do that. And as far as the Crumleys, I said from the start, Adolph, Vanessa, I told you, I felt that they were used as scapegoats. They had some culpability, but then you look at the school staff who cannot be charged due to qualified immunity. So you thank Joe Biden for that bullshit. That's why qualified immunity exists, due to the 1991 Police Bill of Rights that he authored.
So here's the deal, though. I think that you say that they were used as scapegoats. I say that they were all culpable. As a parent, you should know, and you know what's going on with your kid. I believe that the school officials were culpable as well. But you're saying that this guy got a raw deal, that he has to stay in prison for I don't know how long, 10 years. And I'm saying no. It's the justice system. It worked. He was charged. He was tried in front of a jury of his peers.
Okay. After you said that,
come on, Vanessa, you're wrong with that.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm not a prosecutor. Yes, I am.
Wait a minute. You ain't saying it.
That's the system that we have.
Listen, you can do all the whatever, but it don't matter. The bottom line is, if you go,
I want to, sir.
Listen, if you want to have a debate, we can debate. But the bullshit that you talking is bullshit, because yes, it is, because if we take what you said, and apply it to the woman who 2 kids froze, she need to be prosecuted. All these kids that shoot up houses and drive-bys, they should be prosecuted, because they know
they very well may be, but the point of the matter is this.
But they won't be. It's selective prosecution. Go ahead, Jim.
They very well may be. I'm not saying that.
Hi, everybody.
At the end of the day.
Hey, Dave, Felicia.
Let's hear from
Thank you, Jay. Marlon, Vanessa is the scene. She's not on the scene. She is the scene. We have the great Frankie Darcell, one of the best, or the 2 best Detroit black and white episodes we ever had Frankie Darcell on them. So I'll just say this.
Go ahead.
10 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter.
Okay.
I think
too much.
Civilly, they're responsible. Criminally, I still have as a police officer, I have a problem with that. I know involuntary manslaughter, you do not need intent. Am I right, Attorney Moss?
Yes.
You do not need intent, but you're holding them responsible. And how far does that go? We've talked about it before on this show. Your kid takes your car keys. You're upstairs in the bedroom sleeping. He goes and gets drunk and crashes into somebody. Should you go to jail for that?
I don't disagree, but the point that I'm making is that this is the system that we have. They were charged. They went to trial. They were found guilty. It is what it is. Is there?
So let's talk about selective.
No, I don't disagree with you. I believe there's selective prosecution all day long, every day. Okay, but we're talking about the Crumblies in this case. And Adolph feels like they got a raw deal.
They got a raw deal.
They got a raw deal because you don't think they should have been charged at all?
No, I didn't say that. I said they got over sentenced, and the judge and the prosecutor and them, the case was fixed from the beginning because the judge gave them no leeway. Whatever the prosecutor wanted, the judge gave it to her. She was all on 2020, Dateline, and all these other shows.
You're talking about the prosecutor, right?
Yeah. She
Well,
you do have to be a judge, and so they gave her the benefit of the fucking doubt.
And you have to
it's a political prosecution.
You ultimately heard the case. He was a newly appointed judge out there in Oakland County. So I think that, a lot of times they want to play it very, very safe. They don't want to make any mistakes or anything like that. But the point of the matter is selective prosecution, which is something that you and Eric are talking about. That goes on all day, every day.
Well,
But the one I was about to make, you look at that case in Gross.
We lived it. We have lived it. Listen,
and we're living it.
In the South, the judge, the prosecutors, the jury, all was in cahoots when it came to African Americans being put on trial. I just look at this case as the Crumley didn't get a break. They didn't even get a benefit of the doubt. He asking for a new hearing. No, listen, that's just a waste of time. And I'm not an attorney. I'm not a legal person. But I know when they come up with the lame appeal, my attorney didn't do a good job because he lost. You know, that's that first person they blame is the attorney. In this case, you can have F. Lee Bailey, Johnny Cochran, or whoever else. Ben Crump, you name it. Melvin Bell, I'm naming all these old folks.
Deceased folks.
They wouldn't have won the case. They would not have won the case because it was predetermined that they must get punished.
I know that's funny. I know I'm laughing too. That's crazy.
But Adolph and Vanessa and Jim, what about the lady in Grosse Pointe whose son driving the car, speeding, taking the car, killed one of his passengers? That's Wayne County. You know, we talking about selective prosecution. She was not even charged at all.
That's correct.
You know, they tried to charge her. It was her car, and she wasn't charged. I'm saying the Crumleys, should they be in jail? But probably, but not as long. But at the end of the day, they have some culpability.
Should have went to jail for buying the gun and not locking it up. The mama was
just locked up. The kid just had access to it.
She gave birth to Chucky.
Can I ask you guys a question?
You know, that's what they punishing her for because she had a son that was worse than Chucky the doll.
That's terrible.
What do you guys think the prosecution was
partially?
Yeah,
go ahead, Jim. Yeah.
Do you think the prosecution was partially because of the drama of them trying to escape and the money and finding them in the warehouse in Detroit? And all? Do you think that played in it all?
If that was at Central High School in Detroit where the kids got killed inside the schools, it wouldn't have been all that. They would have said, yeah, these monsters that they creating in the city, they would have locked them up and shit. They wouldn't have bothered the parents. They would have just threw the keys away.
But also, to Vanessa's point, a part of the problem is the fact that they couldn't charge the school system. They couldn't charge the teachers. They couldn't charge the principal. So again, the Crumleys were scapegoats because they couldn't charge no one else.
You know what they could have done? Why they couldn't charge them? They could have beat the shit out of the school officials. Make sure they're gonna have to pay these parents and shit. They didn't say anything.
But they exempt too because of qualified immunity.
Two things. If you recall when this occurred, you had your boy, what's his name? Southfield, 10 Mile. Ran for governor. What's his name?
Oh, Feiger.
Jeff Feiger was representing the family to sue the school district, if you guys remember.
Right.
Okay. Then the other thing that I want to say is this. As a defense attorney, I always say the prosecutors always overcharge. They charge,
right, we know that, yeah.
Charge and see what they can get. They see what they can get.
Right, see what's fixed.
Routinely.
Well, they got everything. They got everything they want. And we're gonna take a break and come back, continue this conversation. Detroit.
They're laughing at your Chucky comment.
Hi, I'm Eric
Sabrina,
the Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Well, welcome back to Detroit Black and White. We're gonna stay another minute or two on this. So Vanessa, the resident attorney, do Mr. Crumley have a good defense, or he just wasting his time?
Listen, I always advocate for people to use the process. If you have the right to appeal, you have a right to ask the court to do whatever it is that you want to ask the court to do it. A lot of times, though, they will listen to you, and usually people don't prevail. I'll just put it like that.
Jim.
So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
I think they'll be out in 2 or 3 years, and it won't matter. But thanks for the comments. Same day parlay, Hazel Park, gun.
Should they sterilize Mrs. Crumley? So
sure, that's not a bad idea. And Chevy Van Dyke, I'm trying to focus on Chevy Van Dyke, because at one time in a different life, I worked at a place called Chevy Central Office on Van Dyke. So I don't know, maybe I know that guy out there. So probably.
Thanks, Dave. He just shared Detroit Black and White on X, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. Thanks. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Frankie Darcell, for joining in the chat. She says the kid and parents each deserve jail. The parents met with school officials hours prior to the shootings and refused to move their son from the school. When asked to do so, Vanessa is correct.
I love Frankie. You're going to have her using that quote for the rest of this year. We only in February.
Listen, I love Frankie Darcell, but I respectfully disagree. They don't need to be. Chucky need to be in jail. There's no question.
And see, I have a problem with that. I'm going to tell you why. Brain science says that you do not mature until the age of 26. This was a kid that had not. This is a young person that had not matured.
You kill people.
Wait a minute. This is a young person. Listen, this is a young person who had mental health issues. I'm not saying that he should not be punished, but to stay in jail for the rest of his life, I don't think so.
Okay, I agree with you with that. Okay, I agree with you on that.
I don't think so. I really don't. I think it was very harsh. And when he went into court and he said, hey, you know what? Send me to prison. I deserve to stay there for the rest of my life. He is a kid, okay? And you saw a few months later, he changed his mind. I think it's very cruel to have a kid that young spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, how you balance that with those parents who lost their children?
You don't. You know what?
How do you balance that?
But at the school district, listen, these school districts out in the suburbs, they laughed at Detroit, made fun of Detroit when they start putting metal detectors in schools. And you don't, I'm not saying there's not crime around these schools, but nobody has went into a Detroit public school and shot it up for students, because they got some deterrence from that happening. Here now, all the schools, you believe me, they want some kind of prevention. You know, whether it's a metal detector, whether you patent kids down, because we see what happened in Florida and California, Colorado, all these places where these kids getting shot for no reason because, oh, they bullied me. Listen, we always had bullies. Oh, they was in a clique. The sports kids didn't like me. The popular kids didn't like me. I need a woman, and they didn't like me. So you shoot up the campus. The movie director's son, because he saying the black students was getting all the girls that he wanted. So he go kill some students. It's crazy. They should have prosecute that. They know that their son was a nutcase.
Jim, I got a question for you. What are they doing in Trenton? Do they have metal detectors in the schools?
They do not. We didn't even, I didn't really even believe in school resource officers. I thought that was a waste of time and effort. It's more of a political game. Mm-hmm. The students have relationships with their parents and with the educators. I think putting police in that role is kind of messing up the system, right? Kids aren't brought up to have relationships with police officers in school. I just think I just never liked it personally. They have 2 or 3 in there now, but it's not something I think is great. Backing up, when you talk to the schools, we're holding the parents accountable for the Crumley incident. We're holding Chucky, is that his name now? Chucky, responsible.
Chucky Crumley.
Okay. Oh, okay. But nobody. The first thing they should have done when they had that backpack, they should have never let that kid go back in that classroom with that backpack. They should have said, "You can go back to the classroom, but you're not taking this with you." They had a school resource officer on duty. They failed to notify him. There's a series of things that happen, so we can blame it on the parents. But what about everybody else that walked away from it?
I think all of us on this panel agree with that, because you know what? If it had been somewhere else, when the parents said, no, we're not taking them home, guess what? They calling Child Protective Services, okay? They calling Child Protective Services. These parents did not come pick up their kid, come get this kid. They didn't do any of that. So I think there's accountability for everybody involved.
And that's why, people think, we as Black people always play the race card, but without a doubt, had that kid name been Jamal Lewis and brown skin, they would have searched the backpack and they wouldn't call Child Protective Service, they would have called the police. And I think we have to be real about the two Americas that really do exist in America today, because the same situation at Michigan State, was it 2 years ago? And that changed a lot with regards to colleges and university. Most colleges now, they don't have metal detectors, but unless you are a student there, you cannot even enter the academic buildings.
Well, Eric,
your P card get you in.
Eric, when I went away to school in Ann Arbor as a freshman, you can walk in any dormitory. At 2 o'clock.
Right, that's how it used to be.
3 o'clock in the morning. U of M didn't have any police force then. There wasn't no college police at the time. They depended on Ann Arbor. But as the years went by, people breaking in, people being assaulted on campus. So they started locking. First, they started locking the women's dormitories. Then they start locking all the dormitories. You had to have a key, the ID to get in, but that did not stop folks from, still doing their thing. So they went and got...
A criminal will be a criminal, yeah, just like University of Illinois.
So things changed. You could fly a plane. You can get on a plane and not show ID, just buy a ticket. But when they start hijacking, the rules change. So, you got to adapt. And right now, these school districts going to have to adapt, or they're going to continue to have more issues. Oakland County with the Oxford now looking at in Pontiac, where 3 teenagers raised themselves for 5 years like they were animals in the wild. Somebody was feeding them periodically. And how did they fall through the cracks? Social services, child protective,
neighbors,
school district, the neighbors. The neighbors, same neighbors. I can hear them, and I saw them once or twice, but they never called the fucking police on them. But if you got a loud car and shit, they call a 911 on you, and they see you doing something in the street, they call a 911.
So let's ask a question. No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, let's ask a question. You're making an interesting point about calling 911. Marlon said we need psychologists. He may be right. We may need psychologists more than we need police officers. And Dave's talking about sweeps. I had no problem with going in, sending the dogs in, checking lockers, doing that kind of thing when people are in the classroom. But I'm kind of interested what our colleagues out there think about whether police officers should be in schools or not.
Well, when I was in high school, we had cops in the school.
in the school.
We had good relationships with the head guy. He was a community officer. He was a retired cop.
And so way back in the 1800s, y'all had cops.
I was just like, because we didn't have. I didn't have them.
No, we didn't have them either.
We would have run them out of my school.
When I started working for the school system, actually, when I was at Highland Park, no, there were no police. When I was with
because y'all was in prison because there was no windows in that building.
And when I was at DP,
they didn't have any windows. That's the only school that I know that they had no windows.
But what's interesting now, though, Vanessa, is that the DPS cops has full jurisdiction. Right. Detroit police don't even have jurisdiction, Adolph and Jim, over the schools.
Right.
DPS cops do.
Right.
And they're certified police officers. They have police powers. So
yeah, they're certified, right? Yeah, but a Detroit cop, matter of fact, say for instance something were to happen and the Detroit cop is passing by and somebody come out and wave them down, they cannot enter until the DPS cops get there first.
Well, they're going to be like Val Verde, Texas, where you had a young guy, he's killing kids, and you had 200 cops standing
outside. Scared to go in.
Ho. By the time they got in there, all those kids and the teachers was dead.
Where was that? That guy was a pitcher, I thought, for the Tigers, Val Verde.
Yeah, you know Val Verde, Texas. Anyway, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about the governor's race and the polls that was put out by Deadline Detroit and Esoppolis. What happened to Allan?
He just stopped in to say
he has company.
I know he had company. I know he did. I'm gonna tell him what are y'all doing over there?
He said you're embarrassing too bad, so he went back to his company.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. Are you living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, or maybe you know someone who's in the same situation? The probate process may be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. We have several nonprofit partners who have free attorneys who can assist you. Contact our office, 313-224-5990, or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. Don't lose your family property. Some of these properties have been in the family for 4 or 5 generations. Contact us now. We're here to help.
Welcome back to Detroit in Black and White with Jim Nardone, attorney Vanessa Moss, and Eric Brown. Okay, enough Chucky and his family. Let's talk about the governor's race. There was a poll in Deadline Detroit by our good friend Ed Sarpolis of Target Insight. And he just said, I didn't need a poll when I said that Mike Duggan took his own poll and he concluded that he couldn't win as a Democrat. So he decided to run as an independent. Some people say Mike Duggan had been a closet Republican a long time. He grew up, his father was a big-time Republican, federal judge, but he cut his political teeth under Democrat boss Ed McNamara. If the election was held, Sarpolis said that Benson will get probably 25% of Detroit. Duggan get the other percent. And this is, both of them need Detroit to carry the state. Now, they looking at Sean Cox, not Sean, that's the judge, Mike Cox, former attorney general, probably as the nominee for the Republican Party. I don't think that's a done deal yet. But I think whoever the Republicans, as long as they ain't Tudor Dixon or some other crazy in this, I think they got a shot at taking back Lansing.
The Republicans?
Yes, because they're going to split the vote up. Duggan get his lion's share of the vote. Eric, your take on that poll?
Well, it's interesting with regards to Benson, because when she went around and did her stump in urban communities, I don't think she did one in Detroit, as far as I know. I know she was in Flint. I went to the one in Flint. She was in Saginaw. She was out on the west, Muskegon Heights, Grand Rapids, those areas. Why she didn't do much in Detroit, I don't know. But I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I said from the start, I think what Mike Duggan did was ingenious due to the fact of the pulse of how politics is in America right now. And he's going to be very formidable, but people have to remember, he don't have to do anything until November. He's already moving on to the general election. So he has all that room to let everybody else beat each other up.
And if you look at Maine and you look at Vermont, Bernie Sanders never been a Democrat. He's been an independent.
Independent, right.
With the Democrats. In Maine, you got Augusta, I can't think of his last name, King. He's an independent. He with the Democrats. New Hampshire, independent governor who really, his father was a big time conservative Republican. So it has been done.
Right.
Minnesota was one
Jesse
of the
Ventura
that had independent candidates can win. But Michigan, their history, Jim is not on their side for an independent candidate to win. Your take?
Yeah, go ahead, Vanessa or Jim, but I have another take as well.
Jim first. Jim, you go.
Well, I'm kind of changing my mind a little bit on Mike Duggan, and I'm going to tell you why. Mike Duggan, we had a tragic death of two young people, kids. And Mike Duggan has stepped up to the plate. Whether you agree with what happened, whether the city's responsible, I give the guy credit. He's got the courage to stand up and say, we made some mistakes and I'm going to fix it and I have a plan. And that appeals to regular people. That appeals to all kinds of people that say he didn't walk away from it. And accountability is important. And I'm giving Mike.
He saw Network that night and said, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take it anymore.
I give him credit because that appeals to every man.
I give him credit, but the buck stops at his desk because he's in charge of the city. Vanessa, go ahead.
So I'm going to say something I'm going to respond to Jim, and then I'm going to give my opinion. As far as Duggan is concerned and him getting out in front of the story where the young lady lost her two children in the van, I said that very night when we talked about it, that to me, it was very interesting that he immediately got involved with that, because to me, it says that he believed that the city had some kind of culpability there. Okay. And so he had to get out in front. In terms of the governor's race, as Eric said, we got a long time before we have to make that decision. But I agree with something that Adolph said a long time ago, which is, hey, if you get a Republican in there that people like and people can and their message resonates with people, listen, that's Duggan's race. Duggan being in that race and him running as an independent is going to split that Democratic vote. Based upon, if we look at just this poll that was just done, if we just talk about this poll that was just done, there is a great possibility. Now, we don't know what's going to happen in 4 months from now or 5 months from now. It's quite interesting that we're coming out with all these polls. I'm sure by the time we get to the end of it, we'll be
you're going to be polled out. And you know what? Frankie Darcell said that Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist is going to get in it. Listen, and I like Garland Gilchrist, but what he has to do, especially after Whitmer threw him under the bus and ran him over, pissed on him, did everything but chop his head off, he need to go rogue for the next year or so and say, fuck you, Governor. I'm running. You know, they had they had two senators that leave, and this is the only fucking state where the lieutenant governor didn't get no love. Go to Ohio, where Trump wanted the governor of Ohio to appoint his little cronies, and the governor said, "Fuck that." He said, "I'm appointing the most loyal person in my administration, and he's been with me for all the terms, is the lieutenant governor." Put him in the Senate. She didn't even use her little bully puppet to tell Stabenow, if you're gonna step down, well, I can appoint somebody. But no, they made a deal, and Slockin, they cut a backroom deal. Now they trying to cut another backroom deal.
I think the deal has already been cut.
South Bend, what's his name? Pete Buttigieg or whatever.
Pete Buttigieg, yeah.
Yes.
But Adolph, me and you had this conversation a while back, talking about Gilchrist, and we both agreed, this is off the air, he should have went rogue, because at the end of the day, the governor always talking this shit about first this, first that, first black lieutenant governor. And then for her to do what she did when somebody asked her the question about the election, and she said that, well, a lot of lieutenant governors do not ascend to the governorship. That's the point that Gilchrist should have said, "Fuck you all," and went rogue. Well, probably the second, third time he should have said that and went rogue.
Well, he should have went rogue soon as they got reelected a second term and done his thing. She couldn't fire him and shit. She can banish him, and he can do his thing, go around the state. When she needed his help, she needed a safe pick. She picked Gilchrist. She really wanted Benny Napoleon, but he got smeared in the media because somebody wrote that the FBI was investigating him, and find out the FBI had to write a letter to him saying, "No, you're not being investigated."
Right. We remember that.
But she ran from him. She made sure because it would look like a done deal. He was going to be her running mate.
He's going to be her lieutenant governor. But Mike Duggan also orchestrated him being the lieutenant governor. So it's going to be interesting to see him run for governor now. Per Frankie Darcel. So, if that's her prediction, that's going to be interesting.
Well, I think that we've heard this. He has said before that he was going to run, and he's been my thing is, look, if that's what you're going to do, you should be bold about it and loud about it. He should have all these people getting out here. You have, it's not a secret. The Secretary of State is running. You have Mike Duggan running. It was not a secret that these people had their eyes on the governorship. I don't understand why Garland decided to wait and say, okay, I'm going to announce tomorrow.
They're trying to checkmate.
Exactly. You should have been running for the last 3 years, if you ask me. Now, whether it means going rogue or whatever, I don't know. But what I am saying is this: he should have distinguished himself from the pack, right? Because he has the experience to run for governor. Now, I don't know. Listen, we got this poll that came out. You said Benson is, basically she and
they all going after the same.
I'd love to respond to that.
This will be interesting.
Going after the same cake.
Yeah,
there's only enough to go around.
Only a certain amount of slices.
Yep.
I'd love to respond to that. First, if I could, first Power Orga on do I think heads will roll Terry Linzer and Tara Linzer, who is
and Mary Sheffield.
And Mary Sheffield. I think heads will probably roll at some point, but because of the liability, it might not be in the near future. Vanessa, you just made a point about Mr. Gilchrist, who I think is a great guy, smart as they come.
Very
right?
nice man.
That's his problem. All right. He did what he needed to do. He was loyal to the party. He was loyal to his governor, and they couldn't care less about him. And he's paying a price for being that. He's not a political whore. That's why he's not going to be elected senator.
And all these people, saying he should run for mayor. No, I talked to him a couple years ago.
Yeah, he said,
And
why
I
should I
didn't want
do
to be
that?
mayor.
Right.
I want to
Said
be mayor.
that. Yep.
I want to run for governor.
Yep.
He's not underhanded and sleazy enough to be governor or U.S. senator.
Oh, wow, Jim. Ooh, you said sleazy and underhanded. You have no faith in the politicians.
No,
Wow.
I have faith in them. I just know how they operate.
Well, for the last 30 years, we haven't had any senators in Michigan because Kyle Levin was useless. He went from the city council in Detroit to the D.C. and did shit for the city. Nothing, brought nothing. Stabenow brought nothing. Gary Peters brought nothing. Listen, Spencer Abraham brought nothing. You know, listen, I bipartisan.
See,
no people.
And this what bothers me about the Michigan Democratic Party, because even with Congress people, I mean, you had Horace Sheffield who wanted to run. You had Godfrey Dillard, you know, and it just amazes me that whenever they bring out names or names are mentioned, it's never a black person. You know, so in Detroit, where they are clamoring to get the black vote in Detroit is good enough, but no representatives from Detroit are good enough to go beyond representing the city of Detroit.
Because
you know, I don't look at those that go to Lansing.
Your cousins, Eric, and put Rashida Tlaib and
as soon as he saw that name, I knew he was gonna go off
and fucking office. You know, I can't go to Dearborn. I can't go to Dearborn and get elected dog catcher. But Rashida is so great. Rashida, listen, Rashida ain't shit, and she just a useless piece of shit now that she turned on Harris. She didn't want Harris to win. Now who's going to take up her cause? Donald Trump saying he want to take the Gaza Strip, turn it into Trump land, casinos, restaurants, condos, etc. And what you going to do with 5 million Palestinians? Oh, we're going to just put 1 million here in Jordan. Jordan got a large population. Egypt gonna take 1 million.
Egypt, yeah.
We're gonna put them in Syria now. We got rid of the dictator. We're gonna.
Syria don't want them.
These people not going anywhere.
Right.
It's gonna be chaos.
Right.
It's never gonna happen.
Right. Well, you know what? Frankie Darcell says that she's talking about Garland Gilchrist, and we've had this conversation off air that she says that he should run for Congress. She said, respectfully, Eagles are bigger than the opportunity. Listen, Eric made a point earlier, and we've talked about this before. Listen, if they were on the up and up, right? Gary Peters is talking about leaving. Get out of there and appoint. Make an appointment. But this is the thing.
They trying
one of the things that Eric says that I do agree with is this. You can't complain. You cannot complain if you don't do anything. There's no plan. You're not holding nobody accountable. And at this point, why would they care? Listen, their term will be up in a couple of years. You know what? And they'll be going on to greener pastures.
Duggan is doing what I've been advocating for a long time, that Detroit should have a favorite son, as they used to call it, run as an independent and fuck up the democratic process, because the only thing they understand is when you say you're not getting our vote. And Frankie is right when she said Hill Hopper, all these people
ran for Congress.
They had 10 people that run for Congress. Rashida barely won in the 13th district because all those assholes wouldn't get out. Brenda Jones wouldn't get out. Coleman Young. You name them, they was all there. It's unbelievable. They rather Shree or Rashida win than somebody they know. I'd rather them win. So you know what? This is what we get, and this what we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna come back and continue this conversation. Detroit in black and white.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabri, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in the home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Okay, welcome back. Go ahead, Eric.
So you brought up a good point, Adolph. You talked about Maine, you talked about Vermont, you talked about some of these New Hampshire, some of these other states with an independent leader. And I use the word leader loosely. I'm telling you, if Mike Duggan were to win as an independent, that would set up a new stage going forward for politics in America.
I agree.
If Michigan, a state like Michigan, can elect an independent, it would set up a new dynamic for the whole country.
Well, you know, they say he won as a write-in in a city that people say that that's 80% illiterate. You have to write his name, man. Shit.
Adolph, your show's on fire tonight. You have some really heavy hitters tonight watching. I don't know what you're doing out there, but thank you for your comments, David.
I'm giving them Bitcoins.
Is that what it is?
Oh,
With your picture on it?
Erica Erickson.
Yeah, Erica Erickson from Channel 4. She watching.
Who is that?
Yeah, that's what's up.
The news reporter. Used to be on Fox News.
David Porter, thank you for watching. Burke Nabe Soldier. Yes, I don't think Rashida will be running for mayor, but Garland Gilchrist his seat was the U.S. Senate seat, and I think he would be a great U.S. Senator for the state of Michigan. Unfortunately,
I agree.
He earned the opportunity, and they wrecked it. That's all.
Yeah, you know what? You know that you have people in the background, right? When Debbie Stabenow said that she was leaving, initially she was going to leave, and then we had the impression that she was going to leave and not serve out her term. But you have all these people getting involved, and she said, "You know what? I'll just eke my term out and let them fight for it."
She was part of, no, Vanessa, you give her too much credit. She was part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
Listen, Slockin.
Yeah, she's part of the conversation.
They were CIA agents. We went into Iraq. I could see her with her 45 on her side, shooting her way through Iraq and shit. They was pencil pushers and shit. All these people, it's like J.D. Vance. He claimed, I'm a Marine veteran. He dogging out real veterans, and come to find out, oh yeah, he was in the Marine Corps. 5,000 miles away from combat duty and shit. All these phony ass folks that uses that shit. But when you campaigning, people don't fact. Even when they fact check the shit, people don't care. You know, you could say you the Medal of Honor winner, and you ain't won shit.
Hey, Vanessa, do you want to address Parorga's point about Hill Harper and how
he we all know about that. Parorga says that Hill Harper did run for Congress. However, the media gave the deep state Elisa Slack and more media coverage than Hill Harper. Listen, we know at Detroit in black and white, and Eric, Adolph, myself, as well as Jim, knows that whoever was running his campaign did him an injustice.
We had him on.
He was on.
We had him on. He had other people. He had people telling him what to do as opposed to telling him what he should do. So guess what? We can't blame that one on the media. We can blame that on the candidate and his team.
Great guy. He like Garland Gilchrist was a little naive when it came to the political process.
Listen, but when Hill Harper came to McShane's,
yeah,
he was a rock star.
Yes he was.
Those folks got on him. You know, that's the guy on The Good Doctor. That's the guy.
He even hosted a show with Jim one day.
He did. He and I hosted a show.
He was on the show, and he's a smart guy. Good actor and stuff. He should have really put his acting skills to use when he ran.
Harvard grad.
And he should have used his context.
Right.
He talks about how he went to school with the former president.
No, Vanessa.
Are you kidding me?
Coming in here. Obama.
His contact would have needed to be willing to be used as a part of his campaign as well. Obama tried to play on both sides of the fence, with regards to Alyssa Slotkin, and don't get me started on that's a whole 2-hour show with regards to how he was failed by Obama.
See,
But
that
we
whole
tried.
group up in Lansing, and in D.C., Haley Stevens, Alyssa Slotkin, all those fuckers. You know what? Jocelyn Benson, Dana Nessel,
AG, Jana Nessel,
all
Vanessa's best friend.
They part of that. I call them the Michigan squad. They
all
just
of them are my best friends. All of them are my best friends.
They just as bad. They just as bad as Corey Bush and Omar and Rashida and them. They bring nothing to the table. Nothing.
Hey, can I mention
we lost Michigan in the presidential, but guess who won? Slotkin. She reminded me of Granholm. When Feiger picked her as attorney general candidate, she disowned Feiger, ran from him. There was a slam dunk. Republicans won the governorship, Supreme Court, everything but the attorney general, because Granholm was like a roach. You can spray raid on her 100 times, and she still keep on ticking, walking across the kitchen counter. So we have seen it before. We have seen it
rare form tonight.
If we can address the Adolph, Vanessa, and Jim, we did not address the state of the state, but I do have to give. I'm not a big fan of Whitmer.
The state of the state.
Her credit, huh?
Whitmer.
The state of the state.
I will give her credit.
That's
no,
all.
But she did address education, Adolph. I give her credit for that, and she said what needed to be said. We spending a lot of money on education and getting very little results. That needed to be said.
You know why she said that, Eric? You know why she said that? Because we've been talking about it on Detroit in Black and White, and they watching Detroit in Black and White. That's why she said that.
Well, for a governor that's been there for 7 years. She's talking about things she should have been talking about in the first 2 months of her.
Fix the damn roads.
She got elected on a damn slogan of fixing the roads, and now they're about to have 2 major freeways closed for the next 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And ain't nobody talking about that. I mean, you got 696 from Lasser all the way to I-75 will be closed for 2 damn years. So I feel sorry for people who live on that side of town.
She's running for president. That's what that speech was. I'm running for
president.
She damn
sure gonna get okay. Who right now will vote for Whitmer for president? Of the 4 of us. No, you a damn. No, you won't. No, you won't.
Listen.
Only one person would raise their hand, but they entertaining friends right now.
My point is her speech was a very sanitized view of
my language. But anyway.
If Vanessa get that judgeship appointment on Monday, we'll know why.
And Chevy Van Dyke.
You wrong, right?
He's an old radio listener of yours, Adolph. So these people, they stick to you like glue.
There's some people who I've got text messages, guys, from people who were on 910 who did not know. I don't know if they've been sleeping on a rock, but text me and said, "Hey, where can I find the show? I heard you guys. Where can I find the show?" So I'm sending out text messages that you can find us on YouTube and all social media platforms. You can catch us on all social media platforms, YouTube. Our website is DetroitBlackandWhite.com. I think we're going to start next week. Adolph, did you say next week? We're going to start some of our people who are in the audience. They will be able to come on the show.
Well, listen, they can ask a question. We'll send them a link. We'll link them in. They ask the question, we answer. And we'll give more details on our Wednesday show. But anyway, we're gonna have to have
Leon Jackson, the urban conservative, is watching.
Leon, okay, Terry. We're gonna have to have Frankie Darcell to come on. We had 2 great shows with Frankie. She's still the queen bee of talk radio here in Detroit and across the country. That's
Talk of the town.
That's talk of
the town.
You know, listen, I love going on Talk of the Town. We kept it real. They changed the time 5-6 times because we were saying things. Oh, we'll put them on at 6 o'clock in the morning. They won't hang. What we said at 12 on Sunday, we said at 6 o'clock a.m. Yeah.
Actually, no, not patting each other on the back, but some of the best shows were me, you, and Jermaine Dickens on Talk of the Town.
I don't remember you, man.
Yeah, and I don't remember. I don't believe that.
Well, anyway,
I don't believe that at all.
You will listen to the video then.
Since you're in a hurry to go stepping, your final
tell you about telling my business.
I think we ought to go over a little
She's
bit.
over at the 20 grand on the Boulevard. She's stepping at the 20 grand on Boulevard.
If she over there, she going, if she going there, she going Back to the Future.
Yeah. Go ahead. Your final thought.
For all those people that's watching and say, did I dance on the scene? Well, y'all could go ahead and watch the reruns. Yeah, that's
she danced with Fast Freddy. They had 50-year anniversary. Jim, your final thought.
Hey, she even got Marvelous Marv on the floor.
Go ahead, Jim.
Thanks, Chevy. Thanks, Marlon. Thanks, Dave. Dave's been communicating with us and Teresa, and he's got some great ideas, and we appreciate it. Carrie, thank you for participating tonight. That's all I want to say. Thanks to everybody. Like I said, a great show. Frankie Darcell and Erica Erickson, who's a great asset to the city of Detroit, participating tonight. Thank you.
Eric.
I'm I'm an end Black History Month, even though I'm a 365 person for Black History, talking about the Freedmen's Aid Society as relates to the founding of numerous Black colleges. Their main goal was to educate former slaves, and back in the mid-60s through 1690, that was one of the highest levels of Black intelligence, because they were finally able to get an education legally. So shout out to the Freedmen's Aid Society. Though it was founded by white people, they understood the goal of how important education and having knowledge was for the success of people in America. So again, Freedmen's Aid Society, which was founded way back in 1859.
Okay, well, thank you, and thank everybody that watched the show. We'll be at McShane's tomorrow at 10 a.m.
She didn't get to do her final. She about to get mad.
Like, are you kidding?
When you had your no, she didn't, because she dallied around.
Goodbye, everybody. You
thought she was going to dance out of the room?
Yeah,
right. That's what she wants.
We'll be on the show tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful evening. If you are watching Detroit Black and White, like, and join us tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock.
Mute
and
her.
Announce the guest.
Whitney Clark. We didn't forget you, Whitney.
Mute her. Look at her. She can't even wait to get out of that chair. She got on her heels. She's tap dancing, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, we'll see.
Adolph, announce the guest for tomorrow.
Oh, Fred Duhall III. I like that young guy. I don't know about his chances, but I work with his father at the city. Yeah, listen, you know what? That's why you got to keep it real. When you know that you're looking at polls and you're looking at people raising money, you got to do what you got to do. It's like running a race. He has raised a decent amount of money.
He has. Yeah, but he'll be able to talk about it tomorrow.
Let him talk. I like Fred. Fred's a good guy. But, let's be for real. I'll see you tomorrow.
And then come down and see us at McShane's anytime. Ken's come down. Whitney's come down to the show. Everybody's welcome.
Y'all can drink some Bloody Marys. They make great.
Yeah, Erica Aronson, come on down. Part Orga, come on down. Day, come on down.
Harry Jackson, Urban Conservative.
Stepper. That's enough. Take it away, Teresa. Thank you.